Hi Pooja and Manasa, hope you both are doing good. So in our last session, we just got to know regarding second test cycle, third test cycle. So afterwards, I just told you after cycle or test cycle also, there will be some more test cycles. So next, some bunch of features are developed. Next, we will be starting with end-to-end testing. What is end-to-end testing? We have understood in our last session. And one more thing, Pooja and Manasa, please understand. I have not given any conclusion regarding this build process. In this session, surely I am going to give you the conclusion on build process, my dear students. Okay, fine. Please take down. So some notes you take down. Some notes you take down. Assume that we are in 30th cycle. Here is the spelling. Assume that we are in 30th cycle. 30th cycle. And assume that we are in 30th cycle. 30th cycle means 30th test cycle. Please try to understand. Assume that we are in 30th test cycle and testing continues. Testing continues till 55th cycle. Testing continues till 55th cycle. So 55th cycle, here I have written. Please notice the screen. Okay, fine, great. Below that you write down. By this time, developer will give certain number of functionalities. By this time, developer will give certain number of functionalities to testing team. By this time, developer will give certain number of functionalities to testing team. To testing team. Oh, full stop. Test engineer will perform testing as below. Test engineer will perform testing as below. Test engineer will perform testing as below. Okay. First point you write down. Functional testing on new functionalities. Please remember. Functional testing on new functionalities. Next. Integration testing with integration testing between new functionalities and old functionalities. Please try to understand. Integration testing between new functionalities and old functionalities. very long back we just got to know in integration testing at a time we have to consider two functionalities. Okay. Next, third point. Okay. So end-to-end testing. End-to-end testing. Just now we got to know end-to-end testing. Next, retest the software for fixed bugs. Next, test old functionalities. Please remember. So when you reach certain number of test cycles, okay, so for us certain number of functionalities will be available. So at that point of time, my dear students, testing however you want, you are not supposed to perform. So you have to perform functional testing on new functionalities. Next, integration testing between new functionalities and old functionalities. Next, end-to-end testing. Next, retest the software for fixed bugs. Test old functionalities. So please quickly copy down, my dear Pooja and my dear Manasa. Please quickly copy down. Quickly copy down. Okay. If you have not copied, pause the video, copy down. Next, please continue with the further things. Okay. Assuming that you have completed, next para you write down. Next para. Like this way, testing continues. Like this way, testing continues. Like this way, testing continues. Like this way, testing continues till 55th cycle. Like this way, testing continues till 50th cycle. Till 55th cycle. Like this way, testing continues till 55th cycle. And in 55th test cycle, and in 55th test cycle, and in 55th test cycle, developers will give all the functionalities. And in 55th test cycle, developer will give all the functionalities. All the functionalities. Full stop. Once after all the functionalities are tested. Once after all the functionalities are tested. Once after all the functionalities are tested. Last, L-A-S-T, last 4 to 5 cycles. 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 Sorry, cycle apostrophe S. Cycles requirements. Please write down this. Last 4 to 5 cycles requirements. are freezed, are freezed, are freezed. Once after all the functionalities are tested, last 4 to 5 cycles requirements are freezed. What is this, sir? This point is something new for us, no, sir? Please remember, my dear students, customers in every cycles they are going to give the requirements. Okay, please remember. See, in the first few cycles, requirements will not be freezed or requirements will not be get fixed. Please remember. After some number of cycles only, the requirements can be freezed. Please remember. See, in one cycle you will develop some functionalities and you will give to the customer. Okay, in first cycle. Say 100%, my dear students, in the first cycle itself, customer will not be satisfied. One or the other changes he is going to give. Again in the second test cycle, third test cycle, fourth test cycle, same old things. For certain number of cycles, requirements cannot be get fixed. I am telling you. After certain number of cycles, the requirements will be fixed, where the customer will be satisfied. See, sometimes what happens, my dear students, even customers will also not be knowing complete requirements. Sometimes even customers will also not be knowing complete requirements. After some cycles only, they will get to know. Oh. So previously, whatever the requirements that I had given, according to that or according to those requirements, as how I will satisfy or as how I am expecting, in that manner, I cannot have the software product. Like that, one idea is going to get. So please remember, my dear students, initially customer gives any requirements, don't come to conclusion. Those are the fixed requirements. Okay, fixed requirements. After some number of cycles, then only the requirements will be fixed. So here, maybe in one project, in 55th cycle, customers will be developing all the functionalities. So all the functionalities they are going to test. So last 4 to 5 cycles. So in that cycles, some requirements we used to get, no. So those requirements are fixed requirements. So those requirements are fixed requirements, proper requirements. Please remember. Full stop. Developers will be fixing pending defects. Developers will be fixing pending defects. Developers will be fixing pending defects. And test engineers will test the software product for the fixed defects. Developers will be fixing pending defects and test engineers will test the defects. And test engineer will test the software product for fixed defects. And test engineer will test the software product for fixed defects. And at the end, again test engineer will perform, and at the end again test engineer will perform. At the end, test engineer will perform. At the end, test engineer again will perform, and at the end, test engineer will again perform, write down, functional testing, comma, integration testing, comma, end-to-end testing, for end-to-end testing, full stop. Okay, please remember, once requirements are getting fixed, once once again test engineers are going to perform functional testing, integration testing, system testing, or in other words, end-to-end testing. Okay, next para you write down. Next para. Once after test engineer finds error free or bug free software product, once after test engineer finds error free or bug free software product, then test engineers will communicate to development team, comma, project manager, and test manager, stating that stating that testing of the software product is completed. 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 Full stop. Finally, software product will be deployed or installed. Finally, software product will be deployed or installed into the customer server. Full stop. So that all the customers can use software product and run the business. So that all the customers can use software product and run the business. Full stop. This is how system testing work in real time. This is how system testing work in real time. This is how system testing works in real time. Okay, neat. By this we have completed with build process also. Please remember, my dear students, in build process, how many number of test cycles will get involved? Exactly we cannot tell, my dear students. Build process I have explained you with some assumptions, that's all. It depends on the complexity of the project. If you get to know the complexity of the project, you can tell, or you will get to know, oh, these many number of test cycles will be getting involved. Please remember. So very much important. Build process or how system testing works in the real time. Okay, now please take down heading as question. What is release? What is release? Or what is first release? See these terms: build process, deploy, deployment, deployed, release, first release. See, all these terms are real-time based terms. See, if you just communicate with the interviewer with real-time terms, really interviewer will be very much satisfied about your performance. Always, my dear Pooja and Manasa, I suggest for you people to use more real-time terms. When you are attending any interview, you try to use more number of real-time terms, so that interviewer will be very much impressed. Okay, what is release or what is first release? Okay, write down. Starting from collecting the requirements, followed by developing the software product, collecting the requirements, followed by developing the software product, comma, testing the software product for many cycles, and deploying software product into the customer server. And deploying software product into the customer server is called as release. Okay, nice. See, my dear students, what is release or what is first release? You can define in two ways. So one way I have told. So starting from collecting the requirements, followed by developing the software product, testing the software product for many cycles, deploying software product into the customer server. So this is nothing but release. Please try to understand. One more way is there, ORR. The final software product which will be deployed. The final software product which will be deployed into the customer server or production server, into the production server or customer server, is called as release. Is called as release. Neat. So these are the two ways of defining release, or what is first release. Very much important term, my dear Pooja and Manasa. Super, super. Next question you take down. Next question. How many days will you take? How many days will you take? How many days will you take? How many days will you take to test software product? How many days will you take to test the software product? Okay. Try to answer this question, Pooja and Manasa. Let me see. Try to answer this question. Let me see. Even Brahma comes also, he cannot answer this question. Please keep in your mind. If you want to answer this question, see, this is something real-time based question. Sometimes in the interview, they can ask you this kind of question as well. If this kind of question is asked means, now I will tell you how to handle this. Write down the answer. It depends on, put one hyphen and below that first point you write down. It depends on, put one hyphen, first point you write down, complexity of the project. Complexity of the project. Second one, size of the project. In brackets you write down number of functionalities present. So size of the project is nothing but number of functionalities present in the project. Third point, number of test engineers working in the project. Okay. So in the interview, if they ask this question, this is how you are supposed to answer. Sir, I cannot tell you exactly how many days it is going to take to test the project, but based upon some factors, we can just roughly tell. Which are those factors? Complexity of the project, size of the project, which is nothing but number of functionalities present. Next, number of test engineers working in the project. Okay, super, fine. So this is another real-time interview question. One more real-time interview question. Okay, Write down. What is the total duration of project? What is the total duration of project? What is the total duration of project? project. Total duration of project that you have tested. What is the total duration of project that you have tested? Again, this also real-time interview question. Okay, again this is also another real-time question. What you will answer? How will you answer for this question? Pooja and Manasa, please tell me. How will you answer this especially? How will you answer? Not possible. Correct? But still it is possible. You listen to me. For any single project, Pooja and Manasa, please listen to me. For any single project, we can tell minimum 8 months is required. Minimum 8 months is required. Maximum 2.5 years. Okay. For any single project, we can tell minimum 8 months and maximum 2.5 years. All these are real-time based questions. Okay. Neat. Okay. Sorry, write down. For any single project, it is minimum 8 months for any single project. It is minimum 8 months. Minimum 8 months and maximum 2.5 years. Minimum 8 months and maximum 2.5 years. Neat. Okay. First. Super. So 2 real-time based interview question we got to know. So I hope you are very much happy. So don't worry. Like this, lot of questions I am going to discuss in this course. Super. Now, note you take down. Note you take down. Note. First point you write down. First. One release can consist of n number of builds. One release can consist of n number of builds. So release means final software product which will be deployed to the customer server. That the final software product that you are going to get to develop that, you can have n number of builds. Neat. Second point. One release can consist of one release can consist of one release can consist of n number of test cycles. One release can consist of n number of test cycles. Please, most frequently asked questions. One release, how many number of builds it can have? Immediately your answer should be what? N number of builds. One more question. One release, how many number of test cycles it can have? Immediately your answer should be n number of test cycles. Please try to understand this. Third point. Time taken to perform time taken to perform time taken to perform time taken to perform functional testing. Time taken to perform functional testing, comma, integration testing. Time taken to perform functional testing, comma, integration testing, comma, system testing. Time taken to perform functional testing, integration testing, end-to-end testing you write down. End-to-end testing. End-to-end testing. Need not to be same. 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 Need. Fine. Now, question you take down. One question. Who will be involved? Who will be involved? Who will be involved in installing build? Who will be involved in installing build? Who will be involved in installing build or software product into the testing server? Who will be involved in installing build or software product into the testing server? Into the testing server. Into the testing server. Into the testing server. Okay. Below that, first point you write down along with me only. Test engineer. Test engineer. Test engineer. Write down. Anybody from testing team. Anybody from testing team. Anybody from testing team. That is test lead, senior test engineer, comma, junior test engineer. So like this you have to write. So test engineer can be involved in installing build or software product into the testing server. Sometimes, write down. Second point you write down. Sometimes. Okay, second point. Developer. So in brackets you write down anybody from development team. Anybody from development team. Anybody from development team. Anybody from development team. That is development lead. That is development lead. Senior developer. Senior developer. Junior developer. Senior developer. Junior developer. Third point you write down. Third point you write down. Release engineer or build engineer. So release engineer or build engineer, my dear Pooja and Manasa, something new for you people. For the first time you people are hearing this designation, release engineer or build engineer. Correct, right? Yes, don't worry. Regarding release engineer or build engineer, it is my responsibility to tell this thing. Don't worry about that. Okay. See, in the interview, they can ask who will be involved in installing build or software product into the testing server. So at that point of time, you can write down this. Okay, you can write down this. Now, note you take. Note, 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 note. First point. First point. So, test engineer will get involved. Test engineer will get involved. Test engineer will get involved. Test engineer will get involved in installing build. Test engineer will get involved in installing build into the testing server, 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 when configurations are less, when configurations are less, when configurations are less. See, my dear Pooja and Manasa, while installing, lot of configurations will be getting involved. Okay. So when less number of configurations are involved, so less number of configurations, so simple to understand. So test engineers can easily install the software product. Second point you write down. Second point. Developers will be involved. 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 Installing build. Developers will be involved. Developers will be involved. Installing build. Installing build. Installing build into the software, into the testing server. When configurations are more. When configurations are more. When configurations are more. Okay, please remember. When configurations are less, test engineers will get involved in installing the build into the testing server. When configurations are more, developers will get involved. Why? Because developers will be having more coding knowledge, and they are the set of people who had developed the software product. They will be getting to know in and out of that software product. So that is why when the configurations are more, when the application is complex, that is why developers will get involved in installing the software product into the testing server. Super, super. Now you just write down heading as release engineer. Okay, release engineer. Release engineer. Release engineer. See, my dear students, release engineer or build engineer is one of the fellow who will be getting involved in installing the build or software product into the testing server. Please remember this one. He is the one fellow. So now regarding him, What is he? Why release engineer comes into picture? Why this concept comes into picture? When it is going to come? Regarding that, now we will discuss. So I hope you both have written the heading as release engineer. Okay. Continue. Release engineer is a person. 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 One who manages. Release engineer is a person. One who manages code written by developers. One who manages code written by developers. Code written by developers. Code written by developers by using tools. By using tools. Okay, please read this sentence once again, or read this point once again. So it is self-explanatory. Much explanation is not required, I guess. Okay. Full stop. Release engineer will first install release engineer will first install tool in the server, in the testing server. Release engineer will first install tool. See, to manage the code written by developer. For managing that only some tools are available, like GitHub, Visual Source Safe. Like this, lot of tools are available. Please remember. So going ahead, you will get to know regarding this. For now, you understand this much. Release engineer will first install tool in server. See, this tool is nothing but the software to manage the code written by the developers. The tool release engineer will install inside the server and create a folder in the tool Full stop. This folder can be locked and released. This folder can be locked and released. This folder can be locked and released, which is nothing but secured. Okay, which is nothing but secured. Once again I repeat, you please listen to me. See, this release engineer is a fellow, one who manages the code written by the developers. See, however he wants, he is not going to manage the code. Some tools he is going to use. Afterwards, please remember, release engineer will install tool inside the server. So inside the tool, he is going to create folder. See, that folder will be created, or multiple folders will be created. See, one project means only one developer will not be there. Multiple developers will be there. Using that tool, for each and every developer, release engineer will create the folder. For each and every folder, username, passwords will be generated. For each and every folder, username and passwords will be generated. Okay, please remember this one, my dear students. Okay, please remember this one. So that is why I told this folder can be locked and released. So this folder will be created for every developers working in the project, working in the same project. Full stop. Write down. All the developers working in different countries, all the developers working in different countries, all the developers working in different countries will copy paste the code into the folder. All the developers working in different countries will copy paste the code into the folder. Now you people have to get one conclusion regarding this release engineer. See, release engineer concept comes into picture when developers working from different parts of the world. Release engineer comes into picture when developers are working from different parts of the countries, different parts of the world. Same project, multiple developers will be involved from multiple countries. Please remember. Write down. Once after folder is locked, comma, release engineer will compile. Once after folder is locked, release engineer will compile, compress and prepare build. Once after folder is locked, release engineer will compile, compress and prepare build. Full stop. Build will be stored in development server and build will be stored in development server. And release engineer will connect to the testing server and release engineer will connect to the testing server, comma, copy paste build into the testing server, copy paste build into the testing server, comma, unzip and install the build. Full stop. Release engineer will give URL, comma, username and password to the testing team. And release engineer will give URL, comma, username and password to the testing team. Full stop. Next para you write down. Next para. This is how release engineer will be involved. This is how release engineer will be involved in installing build or software product, this is how release engineer will be involved in installing the build or software product into the testing server. See, one thing keep in your mind, release engineer concept comes into picture when developers are working on the same project from different parts of the world. Please remember this. So next, how the release engineer will install the software product into the testing server, you got to know. Same old process in itself. Okay. Now you take down question. See, these things are self-explanatory. Much explanation is not required, my dear students. Once you go through that, you will get to know Pooja and Manasa. Write down. What is release management or configuration management? What is release management and configuration management? Write down. The process of preparing build. The process of preparing build. The process of preparing build. The process of preparing build, comma, installing build into the different servers. The process of preparing build, comma, installing build into the different server and uninstalling build. The process of preparing build, comma, installing build into different servers and uninstalling build comma, doing hardware and software configuration for server and doing hardware and software configuration for server and doing hardware and software configuration for server is called as release management. Is called as release management. Sometimes in the interview they can ask you, my dear students, what is release management or configuration management? You have to tell process of preparing build, installing build into the different servers, uninstalling build, doing hardware and software configurations for server is called as release management. Next question you take down, my dear students. Next question. For what kind of projects? For what kind of projects release engineers are required? For what kind of projects release engineers are required? Any guess, Pooja and Manasa? See, you people have understood what is release engineer. How release engineer will get involved in installing the software product into the testing server. So based upon this understanding, tell me, my dear students, for what kind of projects release engineers are required? Think about this. Okay, write down first point. For long-term projects, for long-term projects Second point, for complex projects, for complex projects, for complex projects, for complex projects. Third point, when developers are working in different location, when developers are working on the same project, when developers are working on the same project in different location, in different location, in different location, in different location. So this is all about release engineer, how release engineer will get involved in installing the build into the testing server, what is release management, and for what kind of projects release engineer comes into picture. So we will halt the session over here. Please go through the concepts correctly. All these concepts are self-explanatory. Please remember, but very much important from real-time perspective as well as from interview perspective. Thank you so much, Pooja and Manasa. Please take care. God bless you.